Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Neptune conjunct one's natal moon. Now, when you have transits that involve Neptune, it can be about dissipation, dissolving, idealism, inspiration, deception, and duplicity. When you have this transit of Neptune conjoin your natal moon, well, it may manifest in dissipation, idealism, might be inspiration, even deception. It could be in matters with the emotional needs. It could be maybe expecting too much to get accomplished in connection with them, because Neptune is a very idealistic energy. It's also it can be unrealistic. Your emotions may be a little bit chaotic at this time. Could also be where the emotional reactions at this time that you express may be, maybe confounding to others. Neptune is very confusing energy. If this is in Gemini, say, it could be very high-strung, excitable type of energy being released, reactions that people maybe don't understand. Maybe some people might see it as an overreactions. It can also be a time too where since Neptune is about dissolving and dissipation, it could also manifest as far as your responses go. It might feel like you don't always even, maybe the responses are weakened, or you don't really even have, a lot of times you feel like there's some kind of energy, the emotional energy to maybe respond to something or a situation. Neptune could be very weakening. It could also be a time too where there can be a lot of inspiration involved in matters with the mother, prominent women in your life scheme, the home and the family, but it could also manifest in some cases as dissolving and dissipation of these things, of the mother, the home, the family, people that you're close to home with, women that figure prominently in your life scheme. They might take some time off. They may not literally be disappearing, but what it could be is, for whatever reason, the connection may be weakening at this time, and could also remember, keep in mind too that Neptune is also associated with drugs and alcohol, so it could also be expressed in some cases where the people I just mentioned could be, they might get some involvement in alcohol or drugs, or even if they're already on, if any of those people are already involved in it, then this might intensify it at this time or exacerbate that issue. It's also a time too, again, as I was stating before, that it could be about the dissipation, dissolving your emotional energy at this time, but also could be very chaotic and convoluted ones. It could be a time where you feel, your feelings at this time for a certain somebody or situation or something you're trying to attain. You have to be careful because they can be a little bit unrealistic or idealistic at this time. These are, people that are also people that are, as I was stating before, about people that you could be connected with, people in your home life, your family, the mother, people you're close to home with, prominent females in your life scheme. You might not be seeing them as clearly as you had previously. They may be somewhat nebulous and unclear and obscure, and you really, it could be a time where you might be over idealizing them. Remember, Neptune can be connected with self-deception, and that's where that energy can be connected with those people at this time. Now, anatomically speaking, um, the moon is connected with the chest, the breast, the stomach, and water retention. So it could be a time where there can be a weakening of one of these areas I talked about. It might be your ability to retain water might be dissolving, no pun intended. It could be something where if you are drinking, if you're some consistent drinker, maybe that has something to do with water retention. I'm not sure if it actually can impact it, but it's something you may want to look up and confirm on the internet. But the thing is, could also be a time too where looking at this as well. I mean, The moon is also associated with the public. So it might be a time where you might be you might have dreams of getting some kind of public recognition for something. Remember, Neptune could be about what we fantasize about. It could be going into the public with something Neptune related, like the metaphysical, which includes astrology. Could also be, keep in mind that the moon is also associated with the food that we may eat. Now, if you have this transit of Neptune hitting the food, maybe you might become more interested in, it could be in seafood, fish, any kind of fish, maybe shrimp. It could be something where, looking at this as well, it might be dissolving, so to speak, gradually dissolving some food in your diet in some cases. Uh, it's also, as well, this is also about the moon can be connected with our past. So it might be a time where you might start thinking, reminiscing about the past things that are associated with Neptune. It might have been situations where you were deceived. You had to deal with somebody duplicitous. Say if it's in the third house, it might have been a sibling, a cousin, or a neighbor. It could be something too. Looking at this as well, this is also, the moon can be connected to the unconscious, so there might be an unconscious need being drawn toward things that are Neptune related, such as filmography or poetry or dancing or metaphysical, which can include astrology. The moon can be associated with our memories, so again, it could be a time when you could be reminiscing regarding Neptune things and subjects or what have you. Now, or experiences. Now, another thing too, another way this could manifest and pan out, this could be about, sometimes it could be about confusion and how to respond to something. It can be something, whether it's a crisis, say if it's in the 8th house, it might be a crisis situation. It might be something to, say if this is in Pisces, as an example, it could be about whether, to forgive, or it could be about whether you want to surrender, figuratively speaking, generally, I would say, or maybe respond with all-encompassing, Piscean-like emotion. So, also too, it could be actually, on the positive end. This could also manifest a Neptune-related public recognition. Say if this is an Aries in the 5th house as an example, it could be doing some kind of maybe creating a fantasy combat game. Neptune is connected with fantasy. Of course, Aries is associated with combat, and games do correspond with the 5th house in astrology. It could be, say if it's in Sagittarius in the 5th house, it could be some kind of sports-related game. Now, another thing too is that another way this may be expressed or experienced, it could be about the disappearance of, which is Neptune can be about disappearances of women that have played an integral role in your life. Again, as I was stating before, such as could be in some cases could be a mother, it could be a family member that's female, it could be a wife in some cases. This is a situation too. When you have this transit, say if this is in Sagittarius, perhaps it's about the forgiveness of a religious people, is how it could manifest. It could be, this could also be about Neptune-related emotion needs, such as doing something to metaphysical, which includes astrology, poetry, dancing, chemistry, photography, working on a dock, working in anesthesiology. If this is in the 11th house, it could be strongly tied in with your goals and aspirations. If this is in Gemini, it could be flavored with more variety. Now also too, this could be about, in some cases, dealing with some flooding, or it could be a chemical assimilation in the home. Remember, Neptune could be associated with flooding, chemicals. The moon could be associated with the home. Hold on a moment, people. also, too, another way this can manifest as well. You might feel more like sleeping this time and daydreaming. Remember, Neptune can be connected with sleep. Moon is what we feel like doing, what we're in the mood to do. Sometimes, some cases, in isolated, remote instances. So this could be weakened vision, because remember that the moon is also associated with the left or the right eye, depending on gender. Gemini, it might be double vision, as an example. And also people, as I was stating earlier, going to reiterate, Neptune people from the past may come back into view. It could be somebody that may be in a Neptune profession, such as a photographer, a chemist, someone with a metaphysical, which includes astrology, or people that embody like Neptune characteristics, like being very idealistic and inspirational, but also perhaps deceptive. Duplicitous, maybe very passive, not always strong-willed. And in any way, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.